Hello everyone, welcome back to Inventor 719. In today's video we have a very exciting experiment to do with this old engine block. In today's video we are going to see if we can make the engine rotate using firecrackers. Before we get to the experiment, let me give you guys a little history on the engine and how engines work in general for anyone who doesn't know. Okay, so as you can see here, this is the engine block, basically the lower part of your motor. Here is a head that matches this engine block. This is where your valve train sits, where the intake air goes in, exhaust air goes out, spark plugs in the middle. Now, basically, I'm just going to give you guys a brief lesson about the part that we'll be using in today's video. And just a little disclaimer, this block has been sitting in a shed for about 2 years now and the head is damaged, so these are not worth anything, which is why they are used in today's video. So basically the most important part is the engine block, as you guys could see here. Let me zoom you in on the engine block for 1 second. Okay, so basically these are your pistons that slide up and down the bore of the engine. This is an inline 4. As you can see, there's 4 pistons. Now I was able to unseize this using a wire wheel and some lubricant. I'll show you guys more on that in a second. But basically how an engine operates, it's a little bit complicated, but the basis is that fuel and air are mixed in your cylinder, and when the spark goes off, it pushes the piston in a downward motion, as you can see is happening with the outside 2 pistons, number 1 and 4. And as the piston pushes down, it pushes on a connecting rod which rotates your crankshaft, and the crankshaft is where I have my vice grips attached. So as you can see, when you push down on the piston, the vice grips rotate, which rotates your transmission and moves your car forwards. Now every motor has a different firing order. This one fires the 2 on the outside and then the 2 on the inside essentially. So as you can see, when these 2 go down, the other 2 go up. Basically that's all you need to know for today's lesson on how an engine works. Also, before starting the experiment, I thought I should show you guys the head. This is what bolts to the top of the block. Basically, here's each cylinder, which contain 2 intake and 2 exhaust valves. And now, right now, this head contains no camshafts, which means there's no timing chain or anything to rotate. So essentially, at any given time, this head has every single valve of the 4 closed. So each cylinder all together are completely contained with the exception of the spark plug hole, which I'm going to keep open to allow the cylinders to move instead of just getting jammed, because there's nowhere for the air to go. Usually the air would escape out the exhaust valves, but since they're sealed shut, I'm going to have to leave the spark plug holes open, which hopefully will help the cylinder move. Since this motor's been sitting for a while, I want to make sure it moves really well. So don't do this with a good motor, but what I've been doing is using a wire wheel to clean the rust off the cylinder bores. I did this off camera quickly, but now that those are nice and smooth, I've also pre-sprayed the oil rings with this penetrating lubricant, so there is a very good chance of this working. Let's go ahead and set up the experiment. So what I've done here is set the pistons up, the outer 2, at what is referred to as top dead center. So as you can see, as they go up, they will at some point reach a stopping point and then rest for a few seconds before starting to go back down as I move the crankshaft. So the point we want to find is the point right before it starts to go down, which is right about there. As you can see, as I rotate the vice grips clockwise, they start to go down. So with the vice grips in this position, let's set up our fireworks. I have 4 different firecrackers. The 2 on the outside have a shorter fuse, so they will go off first, pushing the pistons down, and then I'll show you really quick. Hopefully they push the pistons down, then by the time these pistons are at top dead center, the fuses are slightly longer, then hopefully it shoots those 2 down and we can get potentially a full motor rotation. So I'm going to go ahead and do a time lapse now of me bolting the head onto the block with the firecrackers trapped in between. I'm not going to be using any head gasket as it is not that critical. So there's the head assembled to the block. I'm going to light the outer two first and the inner two quickly with the torch. And then what should happen if this works is my vice grips should rotate clockwise and we'll go celebrate. So let's see if we can rotate an engine with firecrackers. Here we go. Alright, so originally this clip here was me being a little bit bummed out that the experiment I just did not work. I was hypothesizing that the forces from the firecrackers came out the spark plug holes, and right here I show you guys the smoke left in the cylinders, the middle two and the outside two. I thought that was pretty cool, but basically I obviously just watched the footage again while editing, and so it turns out that it indeed did rotate the cylinder with the force of the firecrackers, which is quite a awesome result. What happened, which is why I didn't believe it worked in the first place, was that the two outside cylinders pushed the vice grips clockwise, whereas the two inside cylinders, since the motor didn't make a full rotation, actually pushed the vice grips counterclockwise, which ended up in the exact same spot, so I didn't think anything actually happened. Now, obviously, this might have been a little bit better with bigger firecrackers, so if you guys want to see that or anything else with this old dead motor, please let me know in the comments down below. This experiment was cool that it worked, but obviously I would like a bigger show. So let me know in the comments down below if you have any more ideas. One idea that I have for a future video is actually inserting spark plugs into the cylinders so that instead of losing all the forces through the cylinders, I can actually stick the fuse out of a valve by opening the valve with my hand, putting the fuse out of it, and then when I light the fuse and it goes past the valve will close. Thus, when the firecracker goes off, the explosion will be all contained within the motor and get forced down, and hopefully it'll make for a awesome video. I could also try something like putting a wheel on the end to see the movement better, and of course I could try using bigger firecrackers to get a lot more motion out of the engine. Hey everyone, well, if you made it this far in the video past the outro, I thought it would be a good time to tell you guys that my girlfriend and I actually do real car stuff as well. Here's two of actually the exact same motors that you just saw me put firecrackers in that we just finished building. And this purple and gold one that we finished putting together just today actually is going back in my girlfriend's RSX. It's going to be turbocharged and hopefully make some good horsepower. Now, if you want to see more about this type of stuff and how to properly work on cars maybe, go check out our secondary channel. It's called JD Mods Garage, and there will be a link in the description down below. Again, thanks for watching. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe. Also, if RSXs aren't your thing, I also have a Civic, my girlfriend has an LS400, and I have a GS300 as well. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Do me a favor and click that big red subscribe button right there. And also, check out some of my other videos by clicking the links on the screen.